Hare Krishna everyone, my name is Nrsimha from the Happy Jiva team, and would like to welcome you to this week's session of wisdom and music meditation. And this week we're coming to you from Tamworth in country New South Wales, which is the place where we've been based now for about a week or so. So this week I thought we could discuss about diet and its relationship with consciousness, which is a significant aspect in Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is a system of spirituality where one does everything for the pleasure of Krishna. And Krishna is a person. And just like if you want to please someone, then what you would do is, one of the things you would do is you would cook for them something very nice. So in Bhakti Yoga or Krishna consciousness, we do exactly the same thing. We cook very nice things for Krishna. And that in turn purifies our consciousness. So we'll discuss that a bit later. But I want to take this discussion on two levels. First of all, on a very gross physical level, and then on a more subtle level, on the level of the mind and the consciousness as well. So, by the way, now I'm not promoting any type of diet in terms of a vegetarian diet or a vegan diet or even a carnivorous diet, but when we're talking about the gross physical body, the human body, let's see discuss some differences between bodies which are optimally designed by nature to subsist on primarily carnivorous foods versus the human body. There's some interesting physiological differences between the human body and the bodies of carnivorous animals. For instance, one of the most apparent differences is that bodies which are carnivorous in nature, they have very sharp claws, and of course these are to chase down the prey and to hunt the prey with. But as human beings, we don't have any claws as such on our hands, so that's a significant difference. And another difference is the teeth as well. So carnivorous animals, carnivorous bodies, they have very sharp canines to rip into the flesh, and their molars, which are the teeth towards the back of the mouth, the molars are also very sharp in nature as well. Whereas for human beings, our canines are quite rudimentary, they're very blunt in nature, and our molars are very flat as well, so they're designed for chewing food. And on that point, the human body, the jaw of the human being, it has the facility to move laterally, that's side to side, and also front and back. Whereas for carnivorous bodies, such movement is not possible. Another significant difference is that, by the way, the reason why that's not so is because usually carnivorous bodies, they don't chew their food. They just rip into the flesh and they just swallow it, whereas the human body is designed to actually masticate and to chew the food before it's actually swallowed, so that it can be better assimilated within the intestines and the body can be nourished subsequently. The hydrochloric acid in carnivorous bodies is also much stronger compared to the human being's acid in the stomach, and that's to be able to digest the raw meat which goes in. And also because you don't want that meat staying in your body for too long, so that's why the length of the intestines of carnivorous bodies is also about 1.5 to 3 times the length of their total body, whereas the length of intestines for human beings is about 9 times the length of the body as well. So we have a much larger intestine compared to carnivorous bodies. So although the human body is designed to eat, it can eat both fruits, vegetables, foliage, plants, and as well as non-vegetarian foodstuffs, carnivorous in nature. Optimally, by nature, it's designed, physiologically speaking, to primarily subsist on fruits, nuts, and vegetables and vegetarian foodstuffs. So that's just on a very gross level. But I want to take the discussion to a bit more of a subtle platform. I remember I think it was maybe 15 or 16 years ago, I watched a documentary when I was in high school, and it was talking about a scientist, a Japanese scientist called Masaru Emoto, and he conducted several experiments on the nature of water. And what he did was that he got some glasses of water, and to some of the glasses he got some monks to come and bless the water within the glasses. In another glass he played some really nice gentle music, etc. And to other glasses of water he had people cursing at them, or he was playing some really loud death metal music like that. And then what he did is that he froze the water contained within those various different glasses, and he saw that the ice crystals which were formed in the water in the glasses which had the water in it, which were blessed by monks or which had really soft, gentle music played to them, they formed, the ice crystals were very nice, very crystalline in nature, very beautiful to look at. Whereas the water which was cursed at, or it came from a very impure source, the ice crystals were quite amorphous. So we can substantiate, at least to some degree, that what his experimental results show is that within matter there's some type of a super consciousness. That's one thing, but I'm not going to get into this point, that point in this discussion here. But another thing that we can understand is that we can embed matter with our consciousness, and specifically food that we cook as well. So you've probably been in situations where sometimes you're feeling very depressed and morose, and as a result you binge on certain types of foods like chocolates or lollies and candies. Or if you're very health conscious, then you're going to eat certain types of foods as well. Like you might eat a green smoothie or some nice healthy cereal or salad or something like that. So our mindset and our consciousness has an effect on what type of diet we eat. So it's not only our physical makeup that determines what type of food is optimal for our body to eat, but also our mental state of mind. Our consciousness also determines what food we eat as well. And I want to read few verses rather, from the Bhagavad Gita, which sort of highlight this point. So just to go back, it's not only that our consciousness determines what food we eat, but it's also the food, when we eat it, it has an effect on our consciousness as well. That's the second point. So this is a few verses from the 17th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna is speaking to Arjuna. And he's telling him in text 7 of chapter 17, he says, even the food each person prefers is of three kinds, according to the three modes of material nature. So according to the Bhagavad Gita and other Bhakti Yoga texts, there's three modes of material nature. There's goodness, there's passion, and there's ignorance. So people who are in the mode of goodness, they're very calm, they're self-controlled, they have a very optimistic outlook in life, etc. People who are in the mode of passion, they're very much eager to go out and achieve things in the world, get name, fame, prosperity, get a lot of wealth, etc. And people in the mode of ignorance rather, they're very lethargic and they like to sleep a lot. These are just some of the qualities of various individuals in the modes of goodness, passion, ignorance. So Krishna, in the 17th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, starts to classify foods also within these three modes. So he goes on to say, this is text 8, he says, Foods dear to those in the mode of goodness increase the duration of life, purify one's existence, gives strength to the body, health, happiness, and satisfaction. Such foods are juicy, fatty, wholesome, and pleasing to the heart. So perhaps you've eaten some really heavy food which was really oily or had a lot of cream or whatever in it. And after you eat such foods, you really feel bad inside. It's not digesting properly, or your chest starts to feel a bit heavier or something like that. So such foods are not considered to be in the mode of goodness, because foods which are in the mode of goodness, they actually have a very medicinal effect on the body. And foods which are in the mode of passion, Krishna says, they are too bitter, they are too sour, salty, hot, pungent, dry, and burning. These foods are dear to those in the mode of passion, and the effect of such foods is given as well. Such foods cause distress, misery, and disease. So we can see, depending on our consciousness, what type of foods we get attracted to. So this is the mode of darkness, or the mode of ignorance. Krishna is saying in text 10, food prepared more than 3 hours before being eaten, food that is tasteless, decomposed, and putrid, and food consisting of remnants and untouchable things is dear to those in the mode of darkness. So Bhakti Yoga is a system where we're neither eating meat, or we're neither focusing just on a vegetarian diet or a vegan diet. What we're focused on is foods, of course, in the mode of goodness, because Bhakti Yogis have a very spiritualized body and a very spiritualized, calm and steady mind. So we're more attracted to foods in the mode of goodness. But Bhakti Yogis, or people in Krishna consciousness, they go one step higher, and they eat food which has actually been Krishnized or spiritualized. And that food is called prasadam. And prasadam is a Sanskrit word which means the mercy. So when you make food and you offer it to Krishna, it gets Krishnized, and it's called prasadam. And such food has the ability not only to purify your existence, to increase the duration of your life, etc., but it also allows you to advance your consciousness in a very spiritual way. So Bhakti Yoga is so simple. Just by eating food, you can actually advance spiritually. So I want to read this verse from the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. This is text 26. And this verse highlights this point of offering food to Krishna. And I'll read the Sanskrit, because reading and hearing Sanskrit is also very purifying as well. Krishna says to Arjuna, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachiti tadaham bhakti uparitam ashnami prayatatmanaha. Krishna is telling Arjuna, in the translation, he says, if one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. Now, one thing we have to realize is that Krishna is self-sufficient. Krishna is the source of all energies, manifested, unmanifested, material energies, spiritual energies. That means that Krishna is not dependent on the bhakti yogi or the Krishna conscious practitioner actually cooking and offering food to him. He is self-sufficient. He doesn't need our food. But from this verse, what we can understand is that it's not so much the food that Krishna is accepting, but Krishna is saying that he's accepting the love and devotion in which the food is cooked. So when bhakti yogis, they cook food, they cook it out of love and devotion to Krishna. Generally, it's said that under normal situations or circumstances, you would eat food for two reasons. The first reason why you would eat food is because obviously you're hungry. And secondly, even if you're not hungry, another reason why you would eat food is because you have some affection or some love for the person who is cooking the food for you. So in Krishna consciousness, we're developing a loving relationship with Krishna, and because we're cooking food out of love for Krishna to offer it to him so that he can eat it, even though he's self-sufficient, he still accepts the food. But as I was mentioning before, it's not so much the food that he eats. What he's relishing the most is the love and devotion that's going behind the food that's being cooked for him. So when bhakti yogis cook food, they don't taste the food in between cooking it, and they don't use ingredients which don't go well with Krishna, that Krishna doesn't like. And Krishna here specifically has mentioned in the 9th chapter, verse 26 of the Bhagavad Gita, he's saying, offer me a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water. So Krishna, we can understand, likes plant-based or vegetarian foodstuffs. Krishna is a cowherd boy, so he likes milk as well. So bhakti yogis cook really nice preparations made from fruits and vegetables and grains and sugars and milk preparations as well. And when these offerings are made before Krishna, it's mentioned that Krishna, by eating this offering, by glancing, Krishna, his senses are Krishna's body is absolute. That means he can perform any function with any one of his senses. For example, we can only see with our eyes, we can only smell with our nose, we can only taste with our mouth. But Krishna can feel, for example, with his mouth. Krishna can taste with his eyes. So you can have at your house, and this is something you can do as well, you can set up a sacred space. You can have a picture of Krishna, and you can offer some incense to Krishna every day. You can offer some flowers to Krishna every day. It's like your little altar. It's your sacred space at home. And you can try actually introducing prasadam into your diet, and you will see gradually, if you do this sincerely, how it will start to act on your consciousness. So you can cook some nice vegetarian foodstuffs for Krishna. And by the way, we don't take onion and garlic as well, because onion and garlic are said to be foods which are predominantly in the mode of passion. They're more medicinal foods and they have an effect on the mind. So to keep the mind more clear and pure, we avoid onions and garlic, but we eat other things like ginger and so many other spices. So you can cook some nice preparation for Krishna out of love and devotion, and you can serve it up on a separate plate, and you can put it before a picture of Krishna. And a very simple way to make an offering is you can just chant the Hare Krishna mantra 3 times. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You can chant this mantra 3 times and leave the offering before Krishna, and then give some time for Krishna to eat. And what's happening here is that Srila Prabhupada, who is the monk who translated from Sanskrit into English this vast knowledge of Krishna consciousness, thousands of years old, he mentions that the food takes on various aromas and fragrances when Krishna partakes in the offering that you give to him. Not only that, but the karma which was invested in that food in the process of cooking. Let's say if you offer some rice to Krishna, then perhaps when the farmer was harvesting the rice, maybe some animals, some small insects may have been killed in the process. Or when the food was transported to the supermarket or whatnot, there was a lot of different karma from different living entities which were invested within that food. So Krishna takes away all that karma. And I was mentioning before that the food becomes Krishnized. So Krishna blesses that food. And it's called prasadam. And bhakti yogis, they don't follow a diet of vegetarianism or veganism per se. They eat a diet of prasad. So they cook food for Krishna, whatever Krishna likes. They offer it to Krishna, and they take that food, which is being blessed by Krishna. And just by taking that food, that purifies one's consciousness and allows one to become more and more advanced in Krishna consciousness and spiritual life. So I'd like to encourage you to try this out. And if you want more details or guidelines on how to create your own sacred space at your house, how to set up a nice altar with a picture of Krishna, and how to cook nice foods for Krishna, if you go to our website, www.thehappyjiva.com, we have a lot of recipes there, especially if you become a member on our Jiva community, Happy Jiva community. You can have access to a lot of different recipes that you can try out. And we can help you, we can assist you in how to set up an offering for Krishna at your house so that you can try it out for yourself. So I'd like to finish here today. Thank you for watching. And if you have any further questions or comments, please don't hesitate to contact us on our email address, info@thehappyjiva.com. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare